Ladies and gentlemen, I am officially psychic. Announced this morning by Frontier, Planet Zoo is a brand new PC only, and yes, that's important, zoo building game coming this fall 2019. Fall is late September to late December, so we're looking at a holiday release of some description. First of all, I am really struggling to not get too hyped about this. Zoo Tycoon 2 is one of my favourite games of all time. I even had a video on the game planned for later today already before this announcement, and we have been crying out for a proper zoo building game for over a decade now. Frontier did already try with their console hamstrung version of Zoo Tycoon for the Xbox One, but what we're seeing here today, this is what we really wanted. A PC only game with customization, less park limits, and apparently, we'll talk about it in a second, modding capabilities. We're going to be talking a lot about the game in the coming months, so stick around if that interests you, but for today we're going to break out the trusty red brush and take a look at both the trailer and the screenshots. If you haven't seen the trailer yet, I'll link that down below in the description, go and check it out. Okay, now we're going to go through the trailer, we're going to go through some screenshots, and we're going to go through some images from the website that give us some information about Planet Zoo. I'm going to try to keep this relatively brief. I am very excited about the game, very hyped about the game, but this isn't scripted. We're just kind of going to react to the stuff we see, we're going to talk about it, point out any interesting features and what they might mean, and go on from there. We will have some more dedicated well-made videos in the future, but for now we're just going to keep things fairly casual. So there's 4 parts on the website that give us some information. They have little GIFs of the various animals, or GIFs, or whatever your preference is. GIFs, maybe for some people, for God knows what reason. And they just tell us some little bits of text. Some of this text is really interesting, however, so let's go through it one by one. Simulation runs wild. Meet a world of incredible animals, from playful lion cubs, baby animals confirmed, to mighty elephants. Every animal in Planet Zoo is a thinking, feeling individual with a distinctive look and personality of their own, which is interesting. Maybe there's going to be slight genetic changes even amongst the same members of the same gender of the same species. That'd be really interesting. Different height, different size, different weight, blah 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 blah. Craft detailed habitats to bring your animals' natural environments home. Research and manage each species to allow them to thrive, and help your animals raise families to pass their genes onto future generations. So not only does that confirm the other stuff, but it also says breeding, actual breeding, is going to be in the game, which will be important in a moment. As we move on to meaningful management. Manage an amazing living world that responds to every decision you make. Focus on the big picture or go hands-on and control the smallest details. Thrill visitors with iconic exhibits. Develop your zoo with new research and release new generations of your animals back into the wild. Your choices come alive in a world where animal welfare and conservation come first. That's a really interesting angle, and actually an angle they took with Zoo Tycoon on the Xbox One as well, and an angle that Zoo Tycoon 2 had. Zoo Tycoon 2 had a system wherein if you released multiple animals back into the wild, you do get rewarded, you get commendations, just for being a good conservationist. And it seems like this game may have the same thing. Hopefully there is a reward of some description. Let's say you're trying to bring back the grizzly bear. The grizzly bears have all been eaten by turkeys, and you're trying to bring back the grizzly bear. So if you have a family of like 5 or so, and you release a couple into the wild and then breed more, and kind of try to birth the population like that, you should be rewarded in some way. Or you could do it for the good of your heart. But it's interesting that the breeding and conservation seems like it's going to be a big factor in how you play this game. Instead of holding on to one animal, you're going to try to bring new families in, basically. Limitless creativity. Planet Zoo's powerful piece-by-piece construction tools let you effortlessly make your zoo unique. That word was effortlessly, but I can't speak, I'm too excited. Every creative decision you make impacts the lives of your animals and the experience of your visitors. Let your imagination run wild as you dig lakes and rivers, raise hills and mountains, carve paths and caves, very cool, and build stunning zoos with a choice of unique themes and hundreds. Just gonna underline first time for the red brush. Where is it? Oh god, sorry buddy. Hundreds, we're gonna underline now, we're gonna kind of butcher that. Hundreds of building components. Hundreds. It's a good word. I'm a big fan of the word hundreds. Hundreds implies at least 200, right? I would say. I think it has to be a minimum of 200. That's pretty cool. This one may be the most exciting though. This is share and inspire. Join a connected community and share the world's most creative habitats, scenery, and even whole zoos on the Steam Workshop. See your own designs appear in zoos around the world, or discover fresh new content from the Planet Zoo community every day. So, game is coming to Steam, which is very much what we expected, but by the sounds of it, it will have Steam Workshop access right from the get-go, which is really, really cool. Now, Planet Coaster did also have Steam Workshop access from the get-go. It's actually become more elaborate since then with the Creators Toolkit, or whatever it's called, where you can bring in unique models, and it's got a lot better. I don't know if that's something where as likely to get in this game, but I really hope that's something we do get down the line. You know, the ability to bring in even our own animals down the line would be very, very cool. We'll have to see how open they are to modding in that way. I imagine at the start it's going to be more like it was with Planet Coaster, wherein you build, like they say, unique zoos, for example, but you can also build, you know, if there's 200 plus construction items, you can put them together in unique ways to make unique things. There was a lot of that in Planet Coaster, so I think that's what we'll see a lot of at the start for Planet Zoo. Whether that becomes more elaborate down the line, we'll have to wait and see. Anyways, that is it for the website stuff. We're going to go through, there's a selection of screenshots on the website as well. Again, planetzoo.com, go check that out for yourselves so you can see these all nice and big on your screen, but we'll go through them nice and quickly, see if we can highlight any interesting things. So there's not much to point out on this first one, just a couple of nice lions. That's about it, really. They look like nice lions. We're going to keep an eye on the fences. Like, you can see the fence over here. We're going to keep an eye on the fence. Multiple fence types, multiple exhibit types, multiple habitat types is really important to games like this, and this game is definitely showcasing that nice and early. So we've got a fairly typical grasslands environment, but we've got this kind of chain link fence in the background. If we move on to the next image, we get our look at our very first baby animal. Looks like the same kind of environment as the lions, but we've got a very different shelter. This one has this kind of stone cave shelter kind of thing, and this one has a much more human-made, I think that's meant to be a shelter, like a log shelter in the distance. So it's nice, at least we know we're going to get multiple items. That's kind of what we expected. I'm really trying not to spend too long on this, because I will talk for a billion years. Preferably about this one. This is the first... I don't think it's fully finalised in game. You know, the game is not out for quite a while yet, but this is a big image showcasing what a park may look like. And we see some cool stuff. We see the baby elephant is back with like a feeder ball. We see some footballs knocking around, quite a lot, like far too many footballs. There's also some toy kind of thing in the middle of there. It seems like animal enrichment is going to be an important factor. But the thing I really like about this is just this whole area here, this kind of creative control. Like, we've got this elevated path that comes around with all these lampposts, hangs over the water, and then under the elevated path there's another wall. There's a wall under the path that snakes upwards over the hill, goes into like glass as like a boundary, and then joins on with the path over here. It's just, I know that looks like a mess now, but that kind of control is really, really exciting to me, having, you know, been playing Jurassic World Evolution for the past year or so. And we've got this really interesting building on the right as well, just an elevated little building where people can seem to look out. Don't really know what to say about that, but it's interesting. And we also have this kind of big rock sheltery walkthrough kind of thing, which just seems like something we're going to be able to put over our paths as kind of like a walkway to make our parks a little bit more interesting, which is so important. This next image is awesome though. There we go. We have our wolf. We have a wolf. We have a grizzly bear. We have an elephant. We have a zebra. We have lions. We have a... Is that it so far? That might be it so far. Anyways, this is interesting to me because not only is it in a snowy environment, which would make sense, you know, you've got to have multiple terrain tools depending on the animal, but it's actually snowing. Now, does it just happen to be snowing, or, like Zoo Tycoon 2 before it, and there's going to be a few of these comparisons, do we have multiple different worlds on which we can build, multiple different areas around the world we can build, which have different environments? Can we build in a pure alpine environment, basically is what I'm saying? Or is this in a normal zoo, they've put in the alpine stuff and it happens to be snowing? That's interesting. Hopefully we do get multiple different types of zoos to build in, multiple different environments, and like trying to keep your lions happy in a snowy environment would be much more difficult. That's a nice little added level to the management, I think. Continuing that same kind of theme, we have a new fence. We have this nice log fence in the distance. I also really want to point out this. It seems like not a big deal, but these trees have these little lights on them, and they're angled in different ways. This makes me think that the lights aren't part of the tree, right? They've put a tree down, and then they've been able to put down individual small lights and hooks them onto the tree. That level of like intricate detail is really what I look for in a game like this. Same with this cave over here. I wonder if these lights over here that are facing into the cave were manually placed to light up the cave. Again, just a cool little thing. This is a thick bear in the distance, by the way. I just want to point out it's raining. That's really cool. So we are going to have weather effects in the game at the very least. We've already seen the snow, but it looks like we will have multiple weather effects, which is pretty cool. The humans are clearly from Planet Coaster, which is a shame because I hate the human design. I really hate the human design. I'm so sorry. It's the only problem I have, but I hate the human design. But they've been kind of brought along. It is a Planet game after all. I've felt for a while that Frontier kind of want to expand Planet into this wide-ranging simulation genre collective kind of thing. So Planet Zoo, Planet Coaster, Planet Golf was like trademarked at one point. It could be Planet anything, next Planet hospital would be a logical, I don't know, planet stuff is what they're going to try to do. These PC only simulators, probably with all these humans, terrifying humans. And really cool fence design here though. This is like the back part of what we saw before. There's the fence from before, and we've got this like glass paneling in as well, so it looks like maybe each type of fence is going to have a normal version and like a glass version as well, so you can see in at certain parts, and it looks really good. We've also got some placeable benches down here, some lampposts, just nice little signs of creativity. Moving on, we see our zebras. Adorable. Nice and new environment. That's a completely different ground colouring for the first time. That's like a savannah, dusky kind of, deserty kind of thing. We've got this big desert, or is it more like a hut in the distance? We've got like a clock tower building there. And again, we've got slightly different walls. Just this pure concrete wall. Not much to say about that one. They're very cute. Very cute. Moving on. Moving on to my favourite image in the whole world. Never mind this video. In the whole world, the hippopotamus. The big, chubby, so pleased with itself as it sleeps hippopotamus. It's just absolutely heartbreakingly adorable. I adore this image so much. We get a really nice look at the foliage here. There's tons of different types of foliage just on this one image popping up. There's 4 or 5 or 6 different types of tree and brush and stuff popping up right here, which is really exciting as well. And just want to point out this little gate on the left. That to me looks like a staff access gate. That definitely doesn't look like for park guests. So I imagine, like with most zoo games, you kind of have to give away for your staff to get in to look after the animals. It's just an interesting little design. It kind of looks Jurassic Park-like to me. Right, last one from the actual screenshots. We're back with the zebras, and this man, this is our first look at the staff of the game. And he's wielding a bazooka, which is nice. I think it's meant to be, like, there's leaves propping up. It kind of looks like a leaf blower, right? But why would you have a leaf blower? I think what this might be is more like a pooper scooper kind of thing. I think it's just like a cleaning kind of thing. I think that's the idea. He's a cleaner. He goes around with this and he like sucks up the feces and such, and then does whatever he likes with. I don't know what he does with the feces. He does something with the feces. The point is, he's going to be wandering around cleaning the exhibits. Or he could be just blowing leaves for the hell of it, but I suspect it is more the former. Right, we're just going to very quickly go through the trailer. I've just picked out the shots that I really like. There's not much new information in the trailer. I really recommend you watch it yourselves. The music is great. It looks a lot better in motion than it's going to look in these screenshots, because that's just how things work. But yeah, definitely go check it out. I'll link it in the description down below. And this is, of course, rendered footage. It's not in-game footage. So a woman who we follow through the whole trailer walks through the gate. And I just really liked this little bridge sort of thing over the water. That's it. That's all I want to show you. I just really like it. That's about it. She walks forward a little bit and we see some decorations. We see this man bringing out a box, and the box contains an animal. So I'm curious whether your park staff, maybe you'll have park staff responsible for delivering animals and stuff like that. But we get benches, we've got bins or trash cans, if that's what you want. We've got a potted tree there. We've got some potted flowers there. We've got multiple different types of decoration, plus a new type of fence in this kind of very thin wooden fence along there. Then we see our elephant. And that's about it. I just really like this fence as well. I really like I'm big on the fences. I'm just going to put that out. I'm big on fences. So we see our elephant, and we get another look at our second staff member here. This looks like a tour guide, or he's a presentator. He's kind of just... This is actually the elephant exhibit all down here. So, you know, your people have gathered, and he's going to give information about what's going on. So it looks like you're going to have to juggle multiple different staff members. We're going to see another one in a second as well, actually. And also, it's worth pointing out, these small human-looking things, these are called children, in case you were unaware. So it looks like children would be in the park. Now, if I'm correct, I haven't played that much Planet Coaster, but I believe there's loads of them. They're bloody everywhere. It's an epidemic. I believe people can't die in Planet Coaster, which is a bit of a shame, if we're honest. And I suspect that's going to be the case in Planet Zoo, especially if children are involved. I'd like to see my people be torn apart by a bear, but I don't think that's the angle they're going for, unfortunately. What are you going to do? I don't want to, you never know, but I suspect not. We see our third staff member here. He could have been a cleaner. He's got 2 buckets, they could be filled with water and all that stuff. She is proper squaring up to him, isn't she? And what I believe this is, and it'll be confirmed pretty much in a second in the trailer, is this is a food guy. So he came out of here, which I think is probably like a staff area or maybe a food storage thing, but it looks like maybe a place for your staff to chill between jobs and stuff like that, and maybe to train them and stuff like that, you never know. But he comes out with the buckets of food and he wanders along, and we'll see him again in a moment. We see a lion, got a scratching post. It seems like animal enrichment is going to be important. This girl is absolutely flabbergasted by the lion, which is adorable. We see another new animal here. We got a first look at the giraffes on the right hand side, and my adorable lovely hippos on the left. We see an absolute unit of a bear. Look at that booty. It's just. I just wanted to show you the bear in case you aren't watching the trailer, because look at it. It's amazing. It makes me so happy. Just, I don't know why fat animals make me so happy, but they do. Moving on. Yeah, the bear is back again. This bear actually dives into the water and then swims forward, so hopefully varying depths of water are going to be a thing, not just for design purposes, but different animals want different amounts of water, and all animals, all mammals at least, can swim and want to be able to swim, so having some deep water in there mixes things up, and maybe we can even have a moat. Maybe we'll even be able to build moats and stuff as like an alternate way of keeping certain animals restricted. Again, much like real zoos. And I just want to point out, staff member over here with his 2 buckets and food there. So, phew, staff member has indeed brought the food along. Not many to go. Also, just want to point out the oops, daisy. I want to point out the cave. It did say in the video, in the on the website, I should say, my apologies, that we can make our own caves. Now, is that what this is, or is this like a plonked down item? That's going to be interesting. Just wanted to show the bears having a little social interaction. Important, we know that from the website, but it's nice to see. She is also absolutely flabbergasted. She walks up a hill, there's a shop. Don't really know what else to do with that one. It's just cool, it's a shop. Everyone likes shops. Various trees and sort of different aesthetics going on here. Comes up the hill, we get our final animal. They're very briefly on screen hopping around. There's a couple of lemurs, ring-tailed lemurs on the right hand side. Again, this really nice big glass wall, very nice looking, more small humans. And then we close on the final shot, overlooking the big ass zoo, and it looks brilliant. We see all the animals we've seen before, and I become irrevocably hyped and excited. The only thing I want to show specifically from this screen is this over here, because that to me looks like an aviary. It's a big dome. Now this is only a CG trailer, this isn't confirmation or even close to it, but that does look like a dome, right? It looks like an aviary, so maybe that's a thing. You know, it's a zoo, it should have bird bits, it should have a nighttime bat trail, it should have a reptile house and stuff like that. And I don't think you'd be able to individually make a reptile house, but I'm thinking for those kind of exhibits it might be more like what we had in Zoo Tycoon on the Xbox One, which Frontier did make, where you put down the exhibit and then you plug in the animals as need be. You don't really have control over their exhibit design per se, but more the animals that go inside them. That makes a lot of sense for stuff like aviaries and reptile houses and stuff like that. I'm really hopeful that's what we get, because I love a good reptile house, but we'll have to see. Either way, that's Planet Zoo. I'm finally done talking. I do apologise. We will have more planned and sort of organised videos on the game down the line, but I'm just really excited. I just want to go on about the game a little bit, highlight some stuff from the trailer. Hope you guys are excited as I am. If you are excited for Planet Zoo, please do hit the like button down below and subscribe if you're new to the channel, because we're going to be covering a lot of Planet Zoo going forward. We'll do all the news and updates as the game comes out over the next 6 months or so, and then we will play it on the channel. Of course, we'll also be doing mod spotlights and stuff like that if modding does turn out to be a real viable part of the game, which I really hope it does. Thanks for joining me. Cheers, much love as always. Bye bye. Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to help support me a little bit more, you can do so at patreon.com/bestinslot. There's a link in the description down below. Every little really does help in times like these, but it's not at all expected, and by just watching the video you've already helped me out massively, and it makes you a pretty cool person, so well done you. Thanks for joining me either way, I'll see you next time.